Hi everyone and welcome back to another sports psychology video brought to you by Virtual Gymnastics. If you haven't seen any of these videos before, there are a few other sports psychology videos on our channel. Please go and check them out after this one. So my name is Emily, I am one of the sports psychology support team at Virtual Gymnastics, and today we are going to be talking about resilience. Okay, so in this video we are going to cover what resilience is, why it's important both in sport and in life in general, and also how we can build and grow our resilience. Okay, so resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. It's overcoming adversity and pushing through hard times and coming back stronger than before. In sport, we often face hard times. We often have setbacks and we have adversity. It's normal in sport and everyone's can be different. So therefore, overcoming these things and being able to get back to where we were before and push further is really, really important. So let's think about a gymnast for now. So a gymnast might go through a really hard competition season where they're really struggling and at every competition they're falling. This might cause one gymnast to give up and go, do you know what, I'm rubbish at this, I'm never going to get any better, I'm done, I'm quitting, this isn't for me. Whereas if we can push through that and understand why we aren't doing as well, and then work towards where we want to be and improve, we have resilience. It's about not giving up at the first hurdle. It's about pushing through and making sure that we carry on fighting for what we want. Okay, so we're going to take that example of a gymnast, and we've seen that in sport, we get adversities, but we need to overcome them. Really similar to that in life. Life is hard. Life is going to throw you some challenges, and that's okay. It's a normal part of life, but we have to overcome these things. And by building our resilience in sport, we can apply that to life. And we learn these lessons in sport that we can bring into life in order to make us stronger and more well-rounded people. Building our resilience takes time. It's not something that just comes to us like this. It's something that we have to work on and build on to develop. We can't just expect for it to come overnight. You're already a lot more resilient than you will ever realise because of the fact that you have been through so much. If you think about every setback that you've been through and that you've overcome, you wouldn't be able to count how many there have been because there are loads. It's just about making sure that we're still digging deep through all these hard times and being able to come back stronger. A key part of building our resilience is understanding that not everything that you do wrong or not every bad competition that you have is a failure. It's just a setback. An injury isn't the end of the world. It is just a setback. By having this view of when things go wrong or when things don't go to plan as a setback rather than a failure, your attitude towards it changes. We know that this doesn't define you. Failure knocks your confidence and makes you feel rubbish, whereas a setback is something that you can come back from. It is just a minor inconvenience. In the grand scale of things, it really doesn't matter. You know that you can build back from there. To help you overcome setbacks, we can use goals. We talked about this in the motivation video. If you haven't seen that already, go and check it out, and there is a worksheet in the description box, and that will give you more details about goals. Like I said, goals are useful. They allow you to track where you've gone and see how much you've achieved. Yes, you might have had this big setback, but actually you're still achieving stuff. You're still building back. You might not be back where you want to be at, but you're working towards it. And having small goals will allow you to see every step of the way and that you can plan it out and then you can see your way back to where you were before. So when you're going through a setback, it's really important to look at the bigger picture. Yeah, you might not have done the best performance of your life that day, but if you look at that compared to a year ago, there's some improvement. Or you might not be able to do the skill that you really want to, but then again, you might go back to when you first started and you never thought you'd even be able to do that. It's more about looking at the bigger picture. You're still better than you were, and you know that if you work hard and are determined, you'll be able to get to where you want to be. It's putting that effort in and that determination to overcome the setback and come back stronger. Okay, so another way to build our resilience is to have some sort of trigger phrase that's going to trigger us into changing our mindset. It's going to take us from feeling defeated into feeling more positive and actually determined to achieve what we need to. It's going to motivate us So again, it links in with that motivation that we've talked about previously, but this phrase is more about switching you into that mode where you are so determined to overcome that setback. So I'm going to put some examples on the screen now. So we're going to use this trigger phrase, for example, in a training session when things are going wrong. We might have had one bad training session, we might have had two, we might have had a week full, we may have even had a month full. But this phrase is going to try and switch us and our mindset within this session. So we're going to turn around and go, yeah, okay, I have been really struggling with my routine or my skill, and that's okay because I know I'm going to do what I am now. So we think about some of those phrases. You might be like, oh, I'm going to put my boxing gloves on, I'm going to go and fight for what I want. Or, come on, get it together, get your head where it needs to be, let's go. Every phrase is personal to you. You need to come up with something that works for you, and this will take time. But having a phrase like that is able to then help you switch your mindset and almost bring in some more motivation to help you overcome that setback. So motivation and resilience are linked together because we need to be motivated in order to overcome these hard times. If we think of failures and setbacks, we normally think of these as negative things. Like we said before, a setback is slightly less negative than a failure, but we often view this as like, oh no, this is really bad, like I'm not as good as I was. When actually, with every failure comes learning, and learning is the most important thing. If we learn a lesson from each of our setbacks and our failures, we are then able to come back stronger. But where does this time off with lockdown fit into this? Obviously, it's not great being off the gym. Everyone's feeling a bit bored, we're feeling frustrated, we miss the gym, we want to get back to doing what we love. So people are viewing this as a negative thing. Yes, it doesn't feel good, it's not great, but actually we can use this time, like we've said previously, to do more stretching, to work on the areas that we were weaker on and able to make us more well-rounded. We can use this time to have some well-needed rest and recovery. That's fine, but we need to view this as a setback. When we go back to the gym, it's going to be frustrating. We're not going to be exactly where we were when we left off, and that's okay. Everyone's going to feel like that. But by having that resilience, we know that if we work and we are motivated, we can get back to where we were. It's just going to take time. So this is really important to remember when we get back to the gym. Yes, this is a setback, but we are strong enough to overcome this. So that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching as always. And we have a worksheet in the description box down there for you guys to fill out. Please have a look at that. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask myself or Abby or anyone from the Virtual Gymnastics team that can pass the messages on to us, and we will get back to you. If you haven't followed us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, please do that already and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. As always, if you are struggling or need to speak to anyone, please speak to an adult in your household or even a member of our Virtual Gymnastics team. It was really nice spending this time with you, and we will see you next week. Bye!